can do it again, in your opinion, do it again? I'll start with Alistair.
You can never write off a horse's class. You know, I mean, a horse has the class, but he might lose his form.
Yeah.
But that's temporary.
Well, sorry to interrupt you for a second. I'm glad that you mentioned, and thank you for sparking this memory. I got insulted the other day.
That's not unusual.
No, it's nothing unusual. Insulted because I went on TV and I said, when I was assessing a horse's form, I said, this horse is a little off form, but in my opinion, a horse may lose its form, but the ability is always there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I agree with that too,
Yeah.
Al.
I mean, look, there are cases, obviously, where a horse loses it forever.
Sure.
Of course, but...
Welcome to another edition of In the Box Seat with myself, Warren Lenferna. Andrew Harrison, my bushy-haired friends, made the trip from down the hill. Petrol's expensive. You came down the hill, did you freewheel?
I did freewheel and also had to dodge the potholes in the middle of the highway.
Did you actually find a bit of highway?
No, I didn't. I took the back road.
And we've got Alistair Gordon here from Bloodstock South Africa. He's come to join us again. Yes, we've had him just before the sales, and now we're going to talk about post-sale. Alistair, lovely to have you on the show again, and I'm not surprised that you're back because I can tell you the reports of the show, the first show that we did with you, was fabulous.
Thanks very much, Warren. It's, as I said to you before, it's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I think after the sales, it's nice to be able to catch up and just chat a little bit about how the whole thing went.
Absolutely. Good call. And it was actually your brain box idea, wasn't it? Because you said, let's get Ali on. And
it's not just a pretty face. I promise
absolutely. I tell you. How's the wife?
What?
Yes.
I don't know. She's still around.
Alistair, let's start with you and chat about the 2022 National Yearling Sales. And just from the moment, and again, it's not about me, it's just about I'm sharing with the experience because I was there. From the moment I walked into that sales area, to the moment I left, the atmosphere was electric. It was a good week.
No, the week went off amazingly well. Unfortunately, as I think most people in the industry know, that unfortunately I was devastated to have to leave before the sales started because I got COVID. So it was really unfortunate because I really obviously wanted to be there myself. Myself and the whole team had put a lot of effort into the sale, and it was pretty devastating to not be able to be there to witness what happened. But obviously, I was following it all the time on the website. And I think the reports that I've had back from the sale have been, I've had nothing but positive from everybody, from across the board. I mean, people have been really, really generous with their praise of the vibe, the whole hospitality setup, the quality of the horses that were on the sale. And I mean, we've got to, as Bloodstock South Africa, thank the vendors for giving us the opportunity to sell the quality of horses that they did. I've had a lot of trainers and Bloodstock agents comment to say that they thought it was possibly the strongest draft ever seen. And then, we've got to thank the buyers. I mean, without the buyers and the bidders and the underbidders, there is no sale. And it's incredible under these present economic climate that we're in this country at the moment, to think that people come to a national yearling sales and outlay the capital that they did on horses. And luckily for us they do, and luckily for the vendors they do. But big thank you goes out to everybody that made the whole sale possible.
Alistair,
carry on.
All the trainers that I spoke to, and I must compliment you and Jane for doing an outstanding job, because they, as you touched on, they said it's the best draft they've seen at a sale for a long time.
It certainly was, That was a lot of people said that.
I think we actually touched on this in the first podcast that we did, where I said that I felt that breeders over the time that Jane and I have been doing the inspections have realised that we're there to help them when it comes to inspections. We're not there just to try and take horses off sales and things like that. We're doing it for a reason. And as I think I pointed out in the last podcast, that some horses that had come off nationals went on to top the sales in August for various vendors. And I'm sure it's going to be similar this year. There were horses that we saw that for whatever reason they didn't go to nationals, and maybe it was better that they didn't. and I'm sure that they will either go to the August sale or the November sale and might reach really good heights. So I think it's really encouraging to find that the breeders have now, I think they've picked up and accepted the fact that we're trying to do a job to help them rather than do a job to hinder them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, sometimes, Alistair, I mean, the August sale, you pick up horses not quite mature enough or have some sort of a problem to go on to the national. So the
extra time. I mean,
the
number of horses that obviously I went through I was lucky before I got sick that I was able to go through every single horse at nationals again. So I saw the whole crop again. And there were a lot of horses there that we'd seen in January, which had already improved by April.
Yeah.
By the end of April, dramatically. So you know what? If they can improve from January to April, they can make a lot of them will make more improvement going into August or maybe even to November, which is nearly 9-10 months.
Yeah.
And I think it's a matter of learning which horses suit which sales.
Yeah. But even if you go to some trainers, I mean, they'll tell you a horse can turn in a couple of days. You know, from looking a bit sketchy to suddenly clicking.
I think it's hard for yearlings at that age to change dramatically like overnight, like a horse can in training. But definitely, I mean, we finished inspections on about the 26th of January and the sale was on the 29th of April. I saw horses there that it would be hard to believe they were the same horses we'd seen 4 months before.
Yeah, it's amazing how they grow and develop and change. And just before we go on to with the KZN, the KwaZulu-Natal sale, that's done. Which were the two sales you were touching? The August. There's 3 sales to come.
We've got 3. Bloodstock South Africa have got 3 yearling sales to come. So we have the KwaZulu-Natal yearling sale, which is on Thursday, the 30th of June, at Suncoast. Yeah. So that catalogue is already put together and it's already online. The physical catalogue will be out next week.
Right.
And what happens is that closes before nationals. So horses that didn't sell at nationals, and I'd like to get back to this point later on, but there weren't a lot this year. There were very few. Those horses cannot go to KZN sale because it's already closed. Okay. So any fallout from nationals can only go to August or November.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. That was interesting. Okay, so there's still 3 sales.
It's always been like that. Okay, it's always been like that. But obviously, we haven't had a KZN yearling sales now for 2 years. The last one we had was in 2019, 2020 COVID, 2021 COVID, so 2022. This is our first one for 3 years.
Well, that's interesting because so if you didn't make it onto nationals, you can't go to the Suncoast sale. You've got to go to the.
No, you can go to the. If you didn't make it onto nationals, you could go. But if you went to nationals and didn't sell,
okay,
go.
I got you now, 100%. Okay, I'm glad that we've cleared that up. Okay, what is also exciting about the upcoming yearling sale, the KZN one at Suncoast, which we've touched on, which is the Thursday before the Hollywood Bets Durban July, is. The sale was strong in Gauteng, and fantastic that it was, but not everybody's got that kind of budget. And I'm not for 1 second saying that the Natal sale is going to be weak, but it's talking to a couple of trainers that couldn't get on this national sale. They were all looking forward to get to the Natal sale because it's generally a friendlier sale for the middle of the range budget. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Cape yearling sales and the KZN yearling sales and the two-year-old sales, one in August and one in November, are what we call regional sales. They're not our national sales. There are no selections for those sales. So people enter their horses. There's 169 catalogued for the Durban sale. And I haven't seen them. I haven't inspected them, nor's Jane. Nobody's done any inspection. So those horses go there as they are.
Okay.
Whereas the only sale that we have in South Africa is the National Yearling Sale, which has inspections, both on pedigree and on confirmation.
I know you can pick up some real bargains at that KZN sale. Did Louis the King come off there?
Yes, absolutely. Louis the King did come off there. Yeah.
Where did War of Athena come out from?
No, Ready to Run.
Was she the Ready to Run sale? Louis the King, definitely.
Definitely, absolutely. That was a wonderful story. Bought in the parking lot. Jeff got on his way home, and absolutely. Just to talk about the future and to talk about positivity, because I don't like the negativity, and I don't like that. Yes, we all know racing. I was talking to somebody on the phone this morning from America, and with one of their businesses, and they are under big pressure. This particular person in America, so everyone's under financial pressure in businesses, but we know that. And we know racing's under pressure. But let's put that aside, because with the sales prices that we've seen, and with you touching on the new owners from the last sale, and with what's happening, and with the way people are investing, how can we not be positive and be happy and be bright and be excited?
I think also that there is some light on the horizon as far as international exports is concerned. So the EU are coming out. And
Adrian Todd announced just before the national yearling sales that the EU audit is going to take place, I believe, in October or November. October, yeah. So, I mean, it definitely is a step forward. Obviously, we sit here, we have no idea what the outcome will be, but it is definitely a huge step forward for us. We've been waiting for this since 2020. It was supposed to happen in April 2020, and obviously due to COVID and restrictions and movement of people, it couldn't happen, but it looks like it's highly likely to now happen. And I think at least it's very positive that it's happening, and if we can get some positive news out of that, it could really change this industry in a dramatic fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's dramatic's the right word, Al. It certainly would change it in a dramatic fashion. Stats, I know we're certainly not expecting you to reel off the stats now, but the average prices and all good up, and the total turnover was a huge amount.
Yeah, I think. Sorry if I can just have a
Please,
quick look,
you must.
I don't want to say the wrong things, but our turnover was up by 33%, which is a third, which is incredible. The average was up by 30%, which was excellent, and the median was up by 25%. And I think the other very, very positive thing that came out of the sale was that the clearance rate was 93%.
Jeez.
So I mean, when I've been through my catalogue and had a look at the horses that haven't sold, I mean, it's minuscule, the number that haven't sold.
That's kudos to you and Jane, because
well, it is and it isn't. I mean, I think it's kudos to the fact that, you know, we had a fantastic buying bench of people, and, you know, just chatting to a trainer here this morning, you know, he said that if he didn't get one horse he wanted, he knew there were lots more that he could go and bid on, and he had such a wide choice of horses to buy and bid on, and I think that's what helped the clearance rate, is that there were a lot of nice horses and people could wait and buy what they want. Yeah. So, but the clearance rate, I mean, that actually lives up with Australia, who are very lucky at the moment, one of the high riding racehorse jurisdictions in the world, and they're sitting at around about 92 to 93% clearance rates. So for us to do the same thing, I think it's absolutely amazing.
You know, talking about racehorse ownership, there's funny how it goes through stages. There's been, over the last sort of 10 days, 2 weeks, 4 youngsters at the racecourse have all come up to me and to Raheel, who's our colleague, and they've got a bunch of friends that race, and they all want to get together and take a little 10%. And people are starting to talk now, because the message that we keep trying to drive across is that, you know, yes, you can have a 10% share in a racehorse. You don't have to have 100%, and you don't have to have 30 horses. And that message is clearly working, because a lot of people are saying it's correct. And that's what it's all about. Yes.
Well, I saw on social media that Diane de Kock put up a very nice filly that Mike had bought, a Karori filly, for a ladies syndicate.
Okay.
And it was 1%.
Okay, there you are.
And it sold out.
Jeez, okay, fantastic. You know, another one who's...
It just shows you that, and I think there's so many people out there in the public that do not understand that you can get involved to that extent. You don't have to own 50% of a horse, or a whole horse, or 25% of a horse. You can actually, there are lots of trainers out there that will, you know, gladly sell 1% or 2%
absolutely.
Or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And it affords people the opportunity to get involved.
Sure.
Yeah, but you look at those races, I mean, in Australia, you win the Melbourne Cup and there's like 60 different owners.
Yeah.
You know.
I think worldwide it's become a normal. It's a norm now, and I think I stand corrected, but maybe 2 years ago, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby had 400 investors, Syndicate members.
Right.
I read about some guy in Ireland who invested like 1% in this horse and it won the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
He's still a shareholder in the Kentucky Derby winner.
Yeah.
Just so carry on. Yeah,
Sure.
in the Kentucky, absolutely. Talking about syndicates, I got a message yesterday from a gentleman by the name of Vinod. I forget his partner's name. I do apologise. They've got that horse running. Let me just make sure I've got the right book here. Yes, on Saturday. Now there's a nice syndicate. We talk about syndicates. We talk about ways to get involved. The Ben Mag, I think it is, Ben Mag Brown Syndicate, Neil Andrews.
Yes.
Now, Neil Andrews has got a syndicate.
Yes, with
and
Mike de Kock.
With Mike de Kock, that was ready to fly.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Vinod now phoned me up last night. He said, I'm in a complete state. We've got a horse running in a syndicate. How do I get onto the races? Can I get into the parade ring? I said, relax. Of course, you contact so-and-so. You're entitled to get into the parade ring. You're a shareholder in the syndicate. So they've got a whole bunch of people in there that are, that's the way to do it. And to just have a little leg in. So that's the message that I'm going to keep trying to drive across, is that you can get involved in races. Contact anybody. Contact Alistair. Contact Andrew. Contact me. Contact anybody on social media. It's easy to get hold of people nowadays. Okay. So the turnovers and all were up, which is good. And if there's anything, I know you weren't there, Alistair, and we missed you not being there, but you always look at, because before we can say Jack Robinson, it's going to be 2023 national yearling sales preparations, and the July's around the corner. The end of the year will be here, and before you know it, we'll be all in Joburg again at the sales. But is there anything that you think that could maybe do better, or ways to improve? I mean, it's going to be hard for you to answer that question, because it's from my side and from the people that I've spoken to, there's not much more. I mean, it was really brilliant.
Yeah, I think, Warren, we're never comfortable with what we've got. I mean, we do the job really well, and we do it to the best that we can at the time. But, we haven't this year had a chance to sit down and regroup, because the team's already in Cape Town for the Mare Sale next week. I'm going down on Wednesday. And then we're into Natal yearling sale. So we actually haven't had a chance for all of us to get together and sit down and see where we think there have been problems, or whether we think we can up the game somewhere. But I think, the way the team works at the moment, we're doing a good job, and but we never rest on our laurels. And I mean, you're never perfect. So we're always trying to do something better and have better ideas and come up with new ideas, new innovations and things like that. And so we're certainly not sitting back on the success of this sale. We know that that's history, and we move on and try and do better.
Alistair, did you have those incentive races where you pay a little bit extra?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the previous podcast prior to the sales, then we obviously had those incentives leading up to all our races, all our sales, I beg your pardon, the incentive races leading up to all our sales this year. So every horse that goes through the sales ring this year at a Bloodstock South Africa sales, and the person that buys it ticks the boxes, they are eligible for those incentive races, which is 2-year-old races. The first 22-year-old races is 100,000 Rand a winner. And then we have 6 races of 400,000 Rand, 2 in Cape Town, 2 in Durban, and 2 in Johannesburg.
Right. No, because I was watching it at Scottsville the other day. It was some 2-year-old race that they collected 60
Yeah, so that would be from last year's. So this crop of yearlings that start racing in November of 2022 around South Africa will be the participants for the 100,000 Rand. So it's gone up by 40,000 Rand.
Yeah. Good money.
We talk about the team, and I think another part of the team that did a fabulous job was, it was lovely to have Andrew Miller, Graham Hawkins, and of course Steve Davis. Steve Davis back. What a voice! He's got that lovely strong accent, and what a lovely voice. And all 3 of your auctioneers, brilliant voices and brilliant auctioneers.
Graham didn't have too much of a voice left at the end.
Yeah, but it's
Yes.
taxing. It's taxing. It's taxing.
It's very hard.
It's a hard work. And of course, Fiso was at the sales. He was bid spotting. He didn't call. But your bid spotters too. I mean, full of passion, full of noise. That's what makes the sale. You've got the auctioneer going mad on the rostrum. You've got the bid spotters screaming and shouting. They did a good job too.
No, auctioneering is a huge part of the success of a sale. I mean, it's massive. And obviously, we haven't had Steve since COVID. And yeah, to be honest, I think we've missed him. I mean, although I was sitting at home, listening at home, I mean, it was such a pleasure to listen to him auctioneering. And I think between the three of the guys, Andrew and Graham, I mean, they did a fantastic job. And obviously now going into the regional sales, Fiso and Angus Williamson will now pick up a lot more of the thing. In fact, the two of them are doing the Mare sale in Cape Town next Thursday. And then come Durban sales, I think, they'll also get some work there, and in August as well. So, they're obviously Fiso's still very young, but he's developing all the time. And I know I've spoken to him. He got a lot of help from Steve Davis on the rostrum, and helping him and telling him what to do and what not to do. And you can only learn in this game. I mean, it's in any game. It's not just our game, but he's a really young kid with a passion for the industry, and I think he's got a long way to go in this industry.
I was naughty. It backfired. You might make a little joke or something that can backfire. I was sitting at the table, and he came and stood right there in the corner at the sale. He was bid spotting, so I was chatting, and I thought, well, I'm going to irritate him, I'm going to play a game with him. So I put my hand down like this, and I grabbed him on the ankle, expecting him to jump or something. He went, oh, he said, that's your bid. I said, no, it's not. Meanwhile, I don't know. I still don't know to this moment if it was or wasn't. But anyway, I didn't go home with the horse. So he said, do you see, you want to play with the bud spotters? I'll put you in trouble. So it's so true. Like I say, never rip off the man with a mark. Often it's Anyway, but. It certainly was, and it also was exciting to see. Not exciting to see, but you get involved in a bit of a dispute. Somebody says it's my bid, it's your bid, and I thought the auctioneers handled themselves very well. And
pity you didn't catch one for a bar. That would have sorted you out.
That would have sorted me out for life. And it's just that they handle everything so professionally, and at the end of the day, the decision is with the auctioneer. It's with the hammer. It was good. A fabulous team and a fabulous sale, and it really is an experience to go to those sales. But I think, Alistair, that's a wrap about the sale. I mean, it was good, and don't go with that. Don't go. Stay with us for a moment. We're going to just chat about a couple of things because we want your opinion on the July and a few things that are coming up. Just before we move on, Robbie Thompson. We did an interview with Robbie Thompson. I don't know if you watched that one.
Did you get a word in?
You weren't here. You were in the bush again. I don't know. I think he's got shares in the bushveld this Ike. He's never here. You were in the bush, and it was Robbie and I.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I'm desperate to go to the game reserve. And it was good. There were a lot of views. I think we had over 6,000 views, lots of hits, 48 odd comments, and they loved it. But he's got a good story to tell, Robbie. He's got a good story to tell. And I told him, I say to him, I say, Robbie, I've got to rein you in because he can talk. He loves talking.
He loves.
But he was good. It was
loves
excellent.
Whistling too.
Okay.
When he used to ride a horse and he used to try and keep it calm, he always used to whistle. You could hear him coming from a long way away.
Okay, whistling. Okay.
No, because when I set up the interview with him, on the phone, I couldn't get him off. I said, Robbie, this is not the show yet. Just wait a bit.
Yes. No, he was good.
Anyway.
What was I going to say to you? Let's talk about. There's an option on Tab Gold. Now, I'm not so. I use the phone, but not very well. The Tab Gold website. Is that right? Yeah, the Tab Gold website. You can go on to look at your form digitally, and next to, if you go on to do it again, and do it again, it shows its last 7 form lines. There's a video. You click on the video, it shows you every race. So I think that's a phenomenal tool when you're studying form, that you can go and watch every race.
The last 7 races.
If they show 5, whatever it is on the form line, that's the amount of races you'll get to see.
That's amazing. That's an amazing tool to have.
Absolutely, because you can't, the form
never
is there,
remember
but you remember the race. And I know when you do do you go back and look at past races? I know some people don't. Some people just look at the paper.
I don't have time, man.
Well, now, if you go onto the Tab Gold website, you'll be able to have that.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something
So how do you access that, Warren?
Obviously, you log on. Let's do it right now. You go into your Tab Gold. You'll have an account. If you haven't got an account with Tab Gold, it's free to join. And you go on to fixtures. I'm going to do it right now for you. Fixtures, and let's work on Saturday's race meeting. Saturday the 14th, Hollywood Beds Gravel. You go onto the race card, is that right? You click onto the race card.
Click on race card.
Race card, yes. I'm just having a look here. It's a bit slow in my system. And let's go and pick this horse, Classical Chord. A Classical Chord finished 12th on debut, 21.5 lengths off. let me tell you that Michael Miller tells us this morning on the show that this also will improve. And then you go onto the form line and there is a icon that's got a video. You click the video.
And where is that icon? Because I can't see
It's on the
it here.
extreme right hand side.
So what do I need to do? Do I need to swipe?
Scroll across, swipe across to the, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And there it is there.
Press it.
Press it, and there's the race that'll come up there. So you go onto the form line and you just swipe across. It's right at the end to the right hand side of the form line. You'll see the icon, the video icon. Click on that and you'll have to watch the Sign You Tab advert, the Licorice All Sorts advert, the Tomato All Gold advert, and then you'll get onto YouTube and you'll watch the race there. Those adverts do annoy me, don't they annoy you?
Yeah, I know. I just can't wait for them to skip the ad.
Skip ad, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, okay, so that's the new, one of the new features on that website. Go and make use of it. This weekend is the World Sports Betting 1900. Ellie, I'll ask you this question because you've been around a long time and you've seen a lot of World Sports Betting 1900s. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the field or glance through, but what is the, and I'll ask both of you, in your opinions, is it the strongest 1900 we've ever seen?
It's not a bad field.
Not a bad field. I don't know if it's the strongest though.
I have to be honest to say I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So I can't comment on
That's fine. That's perfect. So you say
Yeah, but this
it's
race
competitive.
has come a bit early. As far as I can remember, that this used to come at the end of.
I think it's always about now,
When it used to be the Republic Day handicap?
31st of
31st of May.
May.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about
So,
but
yeah.
maybe a
So
couple
it's
of
3
days.
weeks. It's 3 weeks earlier. Yeah.
2 weeks now.
2 weeks earlier.
Very quickly, Alison Wright, Shampompo Shampisi, drawn one, lightweight. She's hoping it runs well, trying the distance for the first time. Crown Towers and Do It Again, listening to the interviews with Justin Snaith, probably going to need their runs. Tristful, Tony Riverland's not 100% happy with Tristful. He needs another week, he feels, but should run well. And who else can we give? The Origami, is in a good space. They're expecting a nice run. Mount Anderson, the distance is a concern.
He won his first start over a bit of distance last time.
Yes.
The first time they upped him
Correct.
in distance, he actually won really well.
They beat Origami.
And Nicolette, who we interviewed this morning, said that her and Dean discussed it. Said he'll never see out that trip last time, and he won oh so well.
I actually bought him as a yearling
Okay.
from the late Mr. Ratter.
Okay. So it's Mount Anderson certainly. Now Nicolette was laughing. She was saying we didn't think he would go 18. We're now making him go 19.
Wow, isn't he?
No.
He's Vincent Getrix. Yeah.
Get it right.
The mare went 2,000 meters. I think she won the Natalia Stakes, if I'm not
Okay.
in the Garden Province. She was
Gilded Minaret, yeah,
very
good, yeah, absolutely. So Mount Anderson's got to be a big runner. Gainsford, Vaughan said off the lightweight should be competitive. We saw Crimson King work the other day, so that looked good. So yeah, you could be
It's a
right.
tough race, but a lot of
tough
these,
race.
couple of those horses are looking to get into the Hollywood Bets July.
Yeah.
And some of them are just using it as a stepping stone.
I
But
stand corrected that I don't think it's ever been a really good benchmark for the July.
No, never.
It's a lot of prepping. Lot of prepping, yeah.
I think if you go back in the history books, I don't think a lot of horses that have won the 1900 have won the July.
Yeah, good point. Absolutely good point, yeah. Gentlemen, let's talk about the past weekend's racing. There was the Fillies Guineas and the Guineas, and of course the Drill Hall Stakes. Zapatilis, I thought was impressive.
no, he won. He got
Thrilling race.
He only got going with late, so I'm guaranteed he'll go for the Daily News. So I think he'll get the extra 2 furlong.
For those that watched the podcast, I didn't want to know Silver Operator getting beat. I was right by half a length. It was a good race and was impressive. Richard Fourie, Alistair, riding at the top of
No,
his
he's
game.
riding at the top of his game. He is a very accomplished rider and polished rider. He gives horses every chance, and he's a really good rider. Yeah.
I think the best thing he ever did is go freelance, tying himself down to one stable.
Yeah,
So
and he's
I
travelling a
think
lot
he
now.
knows
I had a
travelling.
word with him. He's trying to. I know Warren Kennedy is well in front, and he's chasing. Richard's made up his mind he wants to try and chase him, but
Very,
he's doing
very,
the travelling.
very good rider. Yeah.
Under Your Spell was the third feature race winner. That was brilliant. She's brilliant.
Yeah, she's excellent. Huh?
Yeah, it's so sad that she's by Captain Noir, who I think got one mare last year at stud. And he produces a filly she was a top 2-year-old. I think she might have even been champion 2-year-old
Yes.
filly, and now she could be champion 3-year-old filly.
Yeah.
So it's a tough
She only
game.
got one mare.
One mare last year. So a tough game out there.
I think you'll be getting a few more this season. Huh?
Sherman Brown sadly had a fall at the Val yesterday, and I believe he's not good. Well, I say not good. He's
sore
and fractured. He's going to be out for a little while, I think. But I mean, Sherman knows his trade. He's been around a long
hardworking guy.
Yeah, shame. We wish you well, Sherman.
Wish him well. Yeah.
Get better quickly. Yesterday, Grant Finney cooked 5 in a row. 5 winners in a row. I mean, that's not easy to do. It's not easy.
He's also a very polished rider. Grant's also a really top class rider.
I think, Shane, the pressure was on to ride the pick 6, but
exactly,
I see that ran
Bush. I see
Bush,
the started favourite.
So, Free and Kennedy, we've touched on that in the jockey and trainers department, because do you think Richard could catch Warren?
No.
No, okay. And then, of course, there's Paul Peter and Justin Snaith going for the trainers. Paul's quite a way clear now. Not impossible.
He had that good day at Turpentine.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if Justin had to win the Hollywood Bets Durban July, I mean, I know there's a lot of in-between races, but can he be caught, Paul?
Possibly. But Paul's got a good string, eh?
Yeah. Okay. 2 things to discuss before we wrap up. The debate, in particular about Do It Again. Can Do It Again, in your opinion, do it again? I'll start with Alistair.
You can never write off a horse's class. You know, I mean, a horse has the class, but he might lose his form.
Yeah.
But that's temporary.
Well, sorry to interrupt you for a second. I'm glad that you mentioned, and thank you for sparking this memory. I got insulted the other day.
That's not unusual.
No, it's nothing unusual. Insulted because I went on TV and I said, when I was assessing a horse's form, I said, this horse is a little off form, but in my opinion, a horse may lose its form, but the ability is always there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I agree with that too, Al.
I mean, look, there are cases, obviously, where a horse loses it forever.
Sure.
Of course, but, you know, a horse like Do It Again, I mean, that caliber of horse has still very likely got it in him.
Yeah.
And a trainer of Justin's ability will know when it's time to call it quits.
Absolutely.
So he's a horse that, you know, he freshens him up and he gives him a prep run, and you know, maybe the horse suddenly he enjoys Durban. I mean, he's always run well in
He
Durban.
looked outstanding this morning.
You know, maybe he prefers Durban to Cape Town, which can happen.
If you look at his form, almost a year to the day,
He won a Pinnacle Stakes at Greybull.
Yes. Didn't he beat...
horses going in a cycle like that.
Was it not Mount Anderson? No, it was the colours of Mrs. Rattray.
Was it not
Dean trained in
Rainbow Bridge? I can't
No, it
remember.
was
anyway.
a Pinnacle Stakes. But anyway,
So it can happen, but I mean, I think it's like all sportsmen. I mean, they always say that, like a golfer, you know, I mean, some golfers, they go for ages, they can't win anything. But they don't lose the ability. It's a confidence and everything else.
Yes,
and a horse, I believe, works on confidence as well. Your top
agree.
horses have confidence, and if the confidence starts coming back, I've just finished the new Frankie Dettori book, and it's a fascinating read.
Yes.
And you see there of him talking about horses, you know, losing confidence and trying to get their confidence back, and how trainers have to work with that to try and make that confidence. And so to answer your question, I do think a horse like him can come back. Yes.
Yeah, well, he won that race, but he hasn't been far behind in all the other races in the Met he's been right up there. So
Paul
you
Lafferty
can't
was
write him off, but he's also very well weighted in Saturday's race. So.
Yeah, and he was Paul Lafferty was telling me, you go back in the stats, he's never missed a place in the July.
Yeah.
That's also, you know.
He was a bit unlucky last year.
Yeah, very much so, absolutely. So interesting. I'm to be quite honest with you, a lot of people have asked as well, you know, what's my early fancy? I haven't really got an early fancy. I've never been an early fancy type of person in the July, but do I think he can't lose? No, I'm not as strong on Do It Again as that, but he's certainly a horse that's going to run well. I've got no qualms about that.
Fun fact about Do It Again. Apparently, Do It Again is the most successful Durban July winner.
Right.
So I'm saying Durban July because obviously he's won the Vodacom Durban July,
Yes.
which is prior to Hollywood Bets.
Right.
He had 2 firsts, a third, and a fourth. I don't think there's any other horse that has
As good a record.
has got a better record of running the Durban July handicap race like Do It Again like that.
Absolutely.
He's the most successful. So like you were saying, Mr. Gordon, that he's got caliber and he's got the potential and all of that. He's a class horse. So
Yes.
I'm also really looking forward to watching him run. You know,
Yeah, I am looking forward to.
He's still a good horse.
He absolutely, he certainly is. But let's see how it unfolds. And there's a lot of people that are in his camp, and quite rightly so. Have you read the article? There was an article this morning in the Sporting Post, or it might have been published last night, about Cape racing, and the headline reads, "Cape racing, take us or leave us." Have you read the article?
I did read the article. I just glanced through it, but
You glanced through it, or you glanced through it?
both. I don't know what goes on through people's minds. I don't know why people can't just settle down and work together, because if we don't work together, we're in big trouble.
What is it then? Has anyone posed the question? I haven't read the article.
Cape racing is
what
always-
is that? Why? What is it? Why are people not doing it? Is it egos? Is it money? What is it?
I don't know. I've been trying to find out for the last 5 years.
Ali, you don't know what it is.
No, it's hard for me to get really involved in something like that. I have read the article this morning. I personally, I'm talking personally, not from Bloodstock South Africa's point of view.
Sure.
From somebody who's been involved in the industry a long time, I think it's really sad that we can't get people together to make this industry what it could be.
Sure.
And I think Justin Vermaak made a comment after the National Yearling sales on social media, where he said that the sales was a huge success, and he only hopes that the rest of the industry comes together.
Yes.
Because we've got so much to offer in this country. We've got such an amazing. We've got everything in this country is amazing, and racing is amazing in this country. I mean, I've seen over the years overseas people from all over the world come here. They absolutely mind blown with what facilities we have and everything else. And it's just so sad. And I do say, I reiterate, this is my personal opinion,
Sure.
that it is very sad that we can't get together. It's because I think the world's our oysters if we
100%.
But I don't see where the roadblocks are. I mean, surely it's a pretty simple thing to get together and work together.
Yeah.
But there always seems to be some sort of a roadblock.
Stumbling blocks.
And talking of social media, I saw a post. Now, whose post was it? It was. I forget. I'm sorry. I'm battling with my memory at the moment. There was a post. Somebody prominent in horse racing, and just put up a simple post, looking out at my horses, and I just so wish everybody would just get on. And it's so true. That's the bottom line. And they got so many comments. Yes, it's a. And I think we must pull our fingers now and get on. It can be done, as you say. Let's for the, as you say, we've got a world-class product, world-class horses, world-class horsemen and horsewomen, punters, owners, everybody. And it's about time to say, come on, guys. You can't fight forever. That's the bottom line. When you're with your wife, you don't fight forever. You stop the fight eventually.
Yeah, when she takes a swing at me, then I duck.
Okay. So I haven't read the article. I will read the article a little bit more later on. Yep. Sherman Brown, absolutely, we've touched on. I'm just having a quick look through the Zapatilis we've spoken about. So there's lots of news that we've touched on.
Do you know what a Zapatilis is?
There was, what is a Zapatilis? I've heard it. I was told.
It's a slipper.
A slipper.
Slipper, yeah. The full sister is boogie shoes.
Cleverly named.
Apparently, Gary Rich got about 47,000 phone calls after Zapatilis won the Guineas.
Yeah.
And there's another horse, Shoemaker, I think.
Jeez, look at that. Okay, yeah, Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Unbeaten, I
he
think.
looks like a proper horse.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Martin's made no secret that he thinks he's
And I've
proper.
got a feeling there was one at Nationals out of that mare as well.
There was. You're 100% right. There was.
Zapatilis had a brother or sister.
Quite right.
I can't remember.
So that's the family. So the family is
quite a
Boogie
family.
Shoes,
Yeah.
Shoemaker, and Zapatilis.
Yeah.
And all beautifully named then.
All
Boogie
shoes.
Shoes,
Yeah.
slippers. What's
Read
his
by
name?
Fastfontein.
Yes, yeah. Oof, they're Vosfontein. They
Had an incredible draft of horses.
they breed a good horse, and so
They
do all our
they
breeders.
can get cats to run.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's a wrap. I think our producer wants us to touch on
Fun
something.
fact about Zapatilis, I heard that it's actually pronounced Zapatias,
Yes, now that's what I was also
It's
told.
probably Greek.
Zapatias.
Italian,
Is it Italian?
apparently, yeah.
Talking of pronunciations, did you see that horse that ran in Joburg the other day? Brandon Bailey got it spot on. I quite him. It was just not a shocking name. It was a shocking name to pronounce. He got it right. It was Fiela Yakazazul or something like that. It was one of the.
I'm glad you weren't commentating.
Yeah, no, it was a shocker to try and get off the tongue. But okay, so Zapatias, That came down from
I
Joburg.
learned something, Zapatillas.
Yeah, I learned something about Zapatillas, and I learned it's to do with shoes. And Mr. Murangasa should buy the project because he's the shoe man, Mr. Murangasa. It was trained before we go by Brett Crawford's son. What is his name? James Crawford. So well done to him, bringing that horse down from Gauteng. That's a wrap from us. Alistair Gordon, Warren Lenferna, Tawanda Talavinga, and Andrew Harrison. Al, thank you. Lovely to see you again. And we see that you're better. We're thrilled to see that you're better. You're 100%.
Well, thank you.
Nice to see you back up on your feet.
It's wonderful to be with you guys, and thank you for affording me the opportunity.
Thank you. And, get them to unscrew that door. It slams all the time. What is that? Money. You want to give me some money to have a bet? Not a problem.
Just before we wrap up, Mr. Gordon, I still want to have another podcast where we talk about your racing career.
He's determined to get that out of you.
How it all went down, because I'm interested, and I just want to know your story. How you were born in Kenya. We spoke about that last time a little bit, and how it went, and how you transitioned into Bloodstock South Africa. So I think I thought this was going to be that episode, and I was looking forward to it. I even put my mic on.
Well, maybe what you should do off air, we can talk to Alistair. Maybe is you do a lot of little series, but Alistair must feel happy to do that if he wants to talk about that, and maybe you do a little insert. But absolutely, we'd need to have 6 hours to talk to Alistair. His training career was so successful, we'd need 6 hours.
No.
So yeah, absolutely.
No, look, I mean, I have no hassle with chatting about it. I mean, there's nothing, there's no secrets or hiding or whatever. I'm happy to chat about it. I just worry that a lot of the early parts of my career. I mean, most of the people that are around with me in those days, they're all dead. Sorry, we're off air, I hope. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how interesting it is for the newer people in the industry to. That's why people have often said, why don't you write a book? But what does a book mean to people that don't know anything about that era, the generations and the time period that I was involved in, most of it. So many of those people are not around anymore, so what does it mean? It's up to you guys. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not happy to talk about it, I am, but it's just, I don't know what...
Will it be relevant?
I don't know if it's relevant to what we're trying to achieve in the industry. But I'm very happy to have a chat with you. Please don't get me wrong.
100%. I think it's going to be nostalgic for people who were not in that era to hear stories from that era. And
no, it's fine.
Robbie Thompson got 6,000 views.
Yeah. He's a bit older than me.
Lovely. Okay, that's a wrap. Push the button. See you in the winner's enclosure.